So Kyle and I were talking a little bit during the break about Maxime Raynaud and how his value is a bit more confusing than a first rounder because the contracts are a bit different. There's a little bit less control. There's obviously less money involved. But before we even get to all that, what he's doing is impressive. And the conversation of being an NBA player or someone with an opportunity to play in the NBA, he is an NBA player. I think let's just say that right now. I was excited when the Kings initially drafted him. I spoke with that Western Conference scout at Summer League. He said he should have went in the first round. Then we saw Maxime Raynaud, and it took him a little bit to get his sea legs under him, and I was kind of critical of that. I still think his three-point shooting, I thought it'd be further along, but the dude has battled, the dude has gotten opportunities, and the dude has showed up, right? It's not always pretty, and he's working his way through things, but I think he is someone that has a future in this league, and now it's up to the Kings to figure out how bright that future is going to be. And the main thing here is when Brendan Nunez talked to his coach from Stanford and the idea of Maxime Raynaud playing the four, what's ridiculous, and it's not really Doug's fault because you can only do what you can do, but what's a bit ridiculous is how many players the Kings have playing out of position, right? And it's just due to a lack of size and redundancy at the guard position. So we've only seen Maxime Raynaud play center. And like we said, his coach said, I think he's more of a four. And you're throwing Precious at the four because you're trying to get Keegan to the three, but Keegan a lot of times has to play the four. So there's just multiple guys that aren't playing the right position, or I guess the position that might be best suited for them. So when Domantas Sabonis comes back, I definitely want to see Maxime Raynaud at the four because I think the biggest issue is, and Chris Watkins is always huge on this, is the defending of the four. It's not the ability to put up a three, right? Anybody can put up a three these days, but on the other side of it, can Maxime guard an Aaron Gordon, right? Can Maxime guard these other fours? And that's what I want to see, right? Markkanen, that brother don't do nothing on defense, but he's so good offensively, it doesn't matter. I don't necessarily see that in Maxime yet, or just because his coach said he might be better suited for a four, maybe the Kings think otherwise, and he stays at the five, and he's kind of a stretch five. But there's no reason Maxime Raynaud, especially where this league or where this season is right now, I do not want to see Maxime's minutes diminish that much when Domantas Sabonis returns. I want to see him at the four. If we're going to try out stuff and you're going to sit Malik Monk on the bench and, keep him in his sweats all game, then let's see what this guy can be because, Kyle loves the big man, tall man comparison, and we've talked about Lauri Markkanen with Domantas Sabonis and how the issue would be defense. I want to say this, and I want to say this right now, and I want to make it clear. We got to start thinking about what life looks like after Domantas Sabonis. That's not to say we need to necessarily go all the way there right now, but even if the defense is going to be rough with Domantas Sabonis and Maxime Raynaud, you know what? I'd rather see if Maxime Raynaud can play the four and deal with the rough defense because the defense might be rough anyway. I'd rather see what Maxime Raynaud can do at the four as well as the five. That is my priority list. We need to start thinking about what this thing might look like. Because as we talked about earlier this week, they ain't talking about Domantas Sabonis when it comes to future plans. They just don't do it. So I want to see Maxime Raynaud at the five, which is what we've seen. And he's been doing well. I want to see what he can do at the four because that affects how you can move on from Domantas Sabonis and the types of players that you want to bring back. Maybe Maxime can't play the four at the NBA level. Maybe not. Okay, cool. So we got to figure out something else. Now, I'm not saying to put all your eggs in the basket of a fringe first rounder who eventually went in the second round, but he is showing you some things right now. So you need to prepare for the future, as uncomfortable as that may be to say, because that's just where it is right now.
So this is the interesting thing with Max for me is the offense is looking incredible right now. And I know some people will say, well, these games don't matter. Let me just bring up a crazy stat that Maxime scored 29 points last night. The last time Keegan Murray scored 29 points in a game was January 31st, 2024, which, based on my math, is 123 games ago for Keegan since he scored what Max did yesterday. So,
and this isn't a Keegan. I don't even know how often. I know Domantas Sabonis, I think he did it once this season earlier, but he doesn't do it a lot.
No, he does not. And in fairness, he doesn't have a lot of games where he takes 20 shots versus Max was the leading shot taker throughout the game. But again, we talk all about potential with some of these young guys, and Max is showing it on the offensive end right now. So I don't want to diminish what he's doing on the offensive end of the floor. The defense is still rough. And the thing about moving to the 4 is less about how do you play alongside Sabonis, because we've also talked about Sabonis could use someone with Max's skill set and measurables as another big. But where I'm stuck is, are you going to be able to guard 4s in the league? Yeah. Or is Sabonis going to be able to guard 4s potentially on the perimeter?
That's what I want to see, though. That's what I've been saying. I don't know if he can guard. I know we always say Aaron Gordon. Look, they don't have to play Aaron Gordon every night, right? But Jeremy Grant, guys like that, I don't see it, and that's why it's been Keegan. And here's another piece, Kyle. Donovan Clingan, okay? His average points. And I do think I would say Maxime won that matchup last night. But it's two young guys just going back and forth. By the way, we always have to do it now. He will be 22 in February, but Donovan Clingan is 21 years old. Okay? So do with that what you will. He doesn't shoot threes at all. He's shooting 25%. He just doesn't really shoot them. But Donovan Clingan averages 10 points a game. 10 points a game. In his career, he's at 8.4. But he's at, 7.4. 10 points a game, 10.1 points per game. And last night, going up against Maxime Raynaud, the brother dropped 19. You know, he just doesn't normally do stuff like that. So I understand the issue defensively. I'm just trying to make sure that the Kings are giving Maxime playing time, but also giving a focus, right? It reminds me of, and Happy Gilmore too was fine. It was unnecessary, but it was fine. But it reminds me of Happy Gilmore at the beginning of Happy Gilmore when Happy is just wearing baseballs off the face in the batting cage, getting tougher. Yeah, Happy, that technically makes you tougher, but you're not actually accomplishing anything. It's actually quite dumb. Now, I'm not saying that's what the Kings are doing, but my point is there has to be a focus. If you're just letting these dudes run around, there is a level of, hey, they're just running around, getting playing time in the NBA. There is something to that, but let's do something with a purpose. Now I sound like my mother, but let's practice with a purpose. Let's do things with a purpose. And I don't know what the Kings' plan is for Maxime Raynaud. Right now, he's just out there. Maybe it'll come later, and right now they're just letting him get his feet wet and do what he needs to do. So that's kind of part of it. All right, let's keep this conversation going. Maxime Raynaud, who's got more value right now? You know I'm going to go there. I've been hard on this guy this week. Maxime Raynaud or Neek Clifford. It's uncomfortable, but we need to talk about it. Alan Sal, Sactown.